And so it's written there that they were with their father, and they were in favor of the whole machlokes. All of a sudden, Moshe Rabbeinu came into the tent. Moshe Rabbeinu came into the tent. So it's written, all of a sudden they didn't know what to do. All of a sudden they lost, and they weren't clear what should they do anymore. And they said, you know, Moshe Rabbeinu, we have to give him cover. This is Moshe Rabbeinu. We have to give him cover, but we have to give our father cover. So if we won't stand up for Moshe Rabbeinu, then we're being poigim in Moshe. If we stand up for Moshe Rabbeinu, then we're being poigim in our father. So it's written that ultimately they decided to stand up for Moshe. And that was the beginning of this tshuva, talking about here. Like this repentance, tshuva. Are you with us?
Yes, I was thinking the main thing is teshuva.
Sure.
Teshuva.
That's what they began with. So we said that tshuva began with the personage of Moshe Rabbeinu. So there seems to be something here, the personage of Moshe. So I go back now to the Sefer from just before the war, this great fellow, this great rabbi. And he says like this. He said, if it would have been just another Avera, that there was a doubt, you know, that Moshe Rabbeinu said, let's wait till the morning. Maybe you could have said, okay, they should have gone maybe with their father. But he said there's an inyan here that this was poigim against Moshe Rabbeinu. So he said in that case, and he brings down an amazing medrash. There's a medrash, and I've heard this medrash before. It's way back in Shmoyz, in Parasha Boy, I think Parasha Boy, Parasha Vashalach. It's written there, Vayaminu b'Hashem uva Moshe Avdei, by Chris Yamsuf, that he didn't gain faith in Hashem and also in Moshe Avdei, in Moshe Rabbeinu. They gained faith in Moshe. So it comes on a medrash over there, and it says that whoever will differ with Moshe Rabbeinu, is kilu chelik ala shechina. Because it's written Vayaminu b'Hashem uva Moshe Avdei. It's all one. It's all one in there. If you differ with Moshe Rabbeinu, then you differ with Hashem. Automatically. So he said that since we see in all the madrashas that there was an inyan here that they were differing with Moshe Rabbeinu. So he said there's no way, there's no essay to be doicha this lois haseh. He said that lois haseh is unshakable, because if you go with Korah, it's like you're differing directly with Hashem. Why? Because you're differing with Moshe. Oh, they realized that, and they began to think in their minds, sure, the B'nai Korah. They began to think, and when it came to standing up in front of Moshe Rabbeinu, they did it, according to that matter. But that's about all. Apart from that, they didn't go running out into the public and say, listen here, we're with Moshe, and we're with them, but they thought it over and they came to that conclusion. Even they had a sort of very special tshuva. They really thought about it carefully and they reached the right conclusion, but it didn't sort of come actually mamish lamais. That, and why is it that we can't possibly, according to that measure, why can't we say they should have gone with their father? Because where it's got to do with being cholek on Moshe, then you're directly cholek on the shchut. If you're cholek on Moshe, then directly cholek. That's ad kan ha'inyan. On that basis, we can understand why it's written in every place. The B'nai Korah, or on a higher madrega, they're not motion Gehenim. They sing Shira. They also say Moshe Emet. The blue Korah that's told about in the Gemara and Bobaza, the way down, and they get swept away by Gehenim every month. They also sort of say Moshe Emet, the Teilah. And then the Medrash Tov said that those who were going down into the ground, before they disappeared from the faith, they said, Moshe Emes V'Torah. So we see the whole thing is Moshe. It's all Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, therefore, it's Kilu Chelach HaShem. Moshe Rabbeinu and the Shekhinah is one. Akiru Chaylach al Shekhinah. Aber mir Rafi said, kommt weiß, that asks itself the question now, that occurs in our minds, why did they only have a high place, Kiru, in Gehenna, at least for the part of history? According to Rashi, they eventually got out. But for a lot of history, they were like, not in deep in Gehenna, they didn't die, but they weren't fully alive. They were sort of like halfway. They had this protected place at the top, at a Gehenna. Just by the way, certain great people in the Midrash asked this, and certain people in the Gemara also asked me, how can we say that this Arab, you put anything that turned black in the fire and everything? Gehenna is not a physical fire. Gehenna is a very high spiritual type of fire. So some people answer that, and they say, I don't want to get too complicated, but they answer that one of them. They got to answer for it. So let's get back to our theme. It comes along the Marami Prague. I found it in the Marami Prague in Pasha Pinto, over there in Pasha Pinto. And he says, the Marami Prague, he said, what's this Indian? That they were sort of half, half, the B'nai Korah. He said they weren't completely on the ground, they weren't completely in Gehenna, sort of like, they're protected, but they're sort of, and they say Shiur and none of it. What sort of, so he says a very amazing thing. And the Marami Prague says, look, there's two in here. They did tshuva. So they did tshuva, it's lo magir lehem Gehenna, it's not due to them, mamish. But he said, only hirharu b'tshuva. They only thought about it in their mind. They didn't actually do tshuva, mamish, before them, and that's the whole kahal and everything. According to one Midrash, they stood up in front of Moshe Rabbeinu. That's really something. But the main thing is they just kept it in their mind. They thought, Hiru believe-on. So the Maral Park says that tshuva has to be a positive thing. You've got to be a real Baal tshuva, you've got to act in the physical world in the proper way. You've got to do everything that Torah would imply in the physical world, and you shouldn't be ashamed to announce it to other people, and it should be all part of your life, is that you do things openly in this world. And that's a sign that you've done tshuva. And therefore there's certain people, as far as the Marami Prague, they make a very amazing point. And they said, if you look in the Rambam, at the beginning of all this tshuva, the Rambam talks a lot about tshuva, but he doesn't actually say the mitzvah of tshuva is kach v'kach. He never actually says that. He just says, yasu tshuva. What he does say is that if you're going to do tshuva, then you've got to be confess. You've got to be misvadeh. You've got to say up a dibur. And then later he said you've got to go back from ever doing it again. And you've got to show that you won't, through your maisim, that you'll never go back to the way you were. And then it's true. So we see that the Rambam says that you've got to do something. It's got to be a practical application of tshuva. You had to say, I mean it in my mind. So he said they did, and that's why they got like halfway house. They got, on the one hand, they got higher than Gehenna. They're not in Gehenna, they're alive. On the other side, they didn't quite make it into this world, at least for part of history, because it wasn't real genuine tshuva. I thought the Maram stuff. Very interesting. Get it. Well, that's why it's killer half-half. However, according to Rashi over there in Tehillim, and the truth is Rashi brings in another capital Tehillim, it's further along. Rashi repeats briefly about the B'nai Korah, same way. We see a bit later that they eventually, according to that source that Rashi has, that they eventually did get out. And once they did, they were what you might call Meshchistim. Because all they spoke about was that we're in Golas and we're going to have the base of Mikdash, and how to kill it, what you can kill it, Binyan base of Mikdash, and we're going to have Yomais Mashiach, and we're going to Tchias HaMesim. And they talk all about these things. And they're all for it, they're all, that's what they're complaining about the Golas. That's what they do, these B'nai Korah. So, from that we see that even though they didn't quite make it mitzad echad, or the very fact that they were prepared to admit, even though they were the sons of the main leader of the whole thing, and he was the ganze Kochen, nonetheless they cut them so often, at least in their minds, and at least according to one measure, they gave Korah to Moshe Rabbeinu, a minimal Korah. That's a big thing. That's a very great thing. That's a koyach to go, as it were, against the count. Very powerful count. And we have to say that Hashem has left them like in a halfway state for quite a while, but eventually he let them out. When he did, they didn't go for this whole business. They had been purified by their stay and by their being separate from the world and being here under the ground. Not a very nice sort of situation. But they came back into the world, and then they were the emissaries ones who said, "We've got to have Moshiach, we've got to have the Gilui, we've got to have the Gula Shlema." So, we see then that there's a very special type of tshuva. But if you do tshuva that particular way, then you become like a meshchet. Then you become what you want. What's this scholars business? You complain about the scholars. You talk about Mashiach, talk about Beis Hamikdash, talk about Tchias HaMeis. Amira comes out of his there that what I wanted to suggest is another very amazing thing. There's some very amazing sforim, and one of them is even Rabbeinu Bechaye in a certain place, and he wants to say that the Bnei Korah, since they were the sons of Korah, they saved their father. What does it mean? It's written in the Gemara that he got both. He got both the going under and also burning. He copped it from all sides. He was the main one. And he went down into Gerim for sure. So what wasn't with him? So there's a famous statement from the Arizal. What the Arizal says, we say on the Shabbos Kapitel, we say after Baruch Shoma, Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbos, in there we say Tzadik Katomo Yifrach. Tzadik Katomo Yifrach. And the Arizal said that Sofa Tevis is Korah. That the Sofi, the end of Korah, is he's going to be a tzaddik. He's going to flower. He's going to bloom. Tzadik Katomo Yifrach. So it says the Rabbeinu Bechaye that the sons are going to bring him to Tchias HaMeis. He's not going to be there when Moshiach comes. He's not going to be there, and he's going to have to sweat it out. But when it comes to Tchias HaMeis and the ultimate Olam Haba, he's going to be there. How? Because he had sons that they did tshuva, and they not only did tshuva for themselves, but they also thought about him. They had him in mind also. And they knew he was really deep into the earth, and they wanted to look after him. And they were makliya. And therefore, there's quite a lot of sforim that bring down that they are going to be very big power, the Bnei Korah, when Moshiach will come, and after Moshiach, and that Korah, their father, is going to get Olam Haba. He's going to have Tchias HaMeis due to their efforts. They're going to be Ma'aleh him. And I saw in our Sefer from Kabbalah a whole thing. I can't even remember all the details. But it talks also in the name of the Arizal with Gilgulim and with us. That Korah was really Kayin. He was a Gilgal Kayin, and that's why he was swallowed by the ground. Like over there by Kayin, the ground opened up to swallow the blood when he killed Evil. So that still remained or something. That swallowed him, but he's going to have a tikkun and a whole thing. He's going to come back, and the whole Maisel Pikabah. So these foreign tell us that he's going to come back and he's going to have Olam Haba, but that's due to the Bnei Korah. they are the ones who are doing it for him, as it were. So there's a very amazing sort of business going on here. This whole thing with the B'nai Korah, they didn't go right down, and then they eventually get back into the world, and then they're really big workers for the Gula, and they're going to give their father was a very big, anti the Kavana, and everything. They're going to give him Olam Haba. They're going to make sure he's got Olam Haba. I don't know. That's just like, it's just chapter headings. There's a lot of very deep, from the Arizal and Opi Kabbalah, all sorts of it. So, I just thought to myself, that we're in the middle of a little shmuz, a little talk. Wasn't this, they did tshuva, the Maharal says they didn't quite do tshuva, but they did, but in the end it was good. But we see that nonetheless, they did help with their tshuva. First of all, they helped themselves. Later, they helped the whole world to think about the right thing about Mashiach. And then they saved their own father from tif in Gerim, they say. There's something very special about these guys, these B'nai Korah. So it seems to me that there's a very special type of tshuva. There's one type of tshuva where you just, you do tshuva in order to correct your own avoidance and your own chatoim, and you want to be back with Hashem, and you want to make sure that, you'll have everything, and everything will be all right. Gesund right. No, gesund right, that's a very high thing. But there's another type of tshuva. And another type of tshuva where you're worried about the ultimate purpose. And you're worried about the ultimate one. And so we have to say that the B'nai Korah was sitting in that sort of special protected place where they were. And they were sort of in a very funny situation. And they began turning in the right way. They didn't get bitter. They didn't get all for hot and for bitter. But they turned their minds. What does Hashem really want? What is He really after? Well, He's after Gilei Elokus. What's the word? He wants it to be Gilei Elokus in the world. Let's work for that. Let's go for it. Gilei Elokus. Their tshuva was another type of tshuva. It wasn't just tshuva to save their own inyonim. And therefore they saved their father also, because they turned in the right direction. They turned their whole being into the right direction. And the right direction is to think about Gilei Elokus in the world, and the ultimate Gilei Elokus is based on it, in Mashiach, and Tchiyas Hamid. And then, if you work hard on that, even people who are in a bad way, you can bring them to be zeichet to Tchiyas Hamid. That's what the Rebbe wants of them, and that's Moshe Rabbeinu. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. And now Moshe Rabbeinu, there's another midrash I saw where it's written that they had times where, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? So Moshe says to them, you should realize, I don't have anything in this whole thing. I would have preferred not to be involved in all this, I just, I don't have anything here. It's only Hashem. You follow? You don't have anything what to be against me, and we're not, like he said to the Meraglim, Aknuma, who are we? You follow? Moshe Rabbeinu represents the truth for the sake of the truth. And he represents Gilei Elokus only for the sake. The B'nai Korah chapped it. They chapped it. They got it, and they worked. So eventually Hashem said, why shall I leave them sitting in the Lord's chair? Hashem brought them up, and He gave them Ruach HaKodesh, and they started telling the right things to the world. They started working for Mashiach. They started working for Tchiyas Hamid. And that's what they're doing right now. And remember, that's what we're going to do. That's what Hashem wants of us. And therefore, the last few years, the Nun Aleph, Nun Beis, the Rebbe didn't talk about tshuva so much in the normal, inverted commas, normal sense of tshuva. The tshuva that the Rebbe wants of us is the tshuva from the B'nai Korah. To think about the scholars and say, we don't want the scholars. Think about Moshe. Oh, yeah. Beis Hamikdash. That's Tchiyas amazing. Okay. Ali Day said, it'll become real. And that's what the Rebbe wants. He wants us to think that way, to be that way. And therefore he saw in the Bnei Korah that it was worth keeping them there because they used the time to think in the proper way. They didn't become embittered. They thought in the right way and they got it right. Oh, they got it right. Let them out on the ground. That's written in that midrash, if I'm not mistaken. It's written that they later had children who became Nevi'im. The children became Nevi'im. I mean, that's pretty high stuff. Because they got onto the right angle. You know, that's all the Rebbe wants us. The Rebbe wants us to get on the right angle. Don't be locked up in the wrong angle. Get on the right angle. If you get on the right angle, then you have to say, we want Mashiach now. There's no other way. That's the way. So the Rebbe said, oh, that's it. And then at the same time, you'll have emphasized and you remember that there's other people that are not in such a good position, and you'll bring them up. They did with their part, they brought him up. And remember, Hashem should help us that we find the right way, we live the right way, and we be good in Mishchestim, and we bring Mashiach L'Kol Ma'ash. יחי עלינו מורנו ורבנו מלך משיח לעולם ועד. יחי עלינו מורנו ורבנו מלך משיח לעולם ועד. יחי עלינו מורנו ורבנו מלך משיח לעולם ועד. עד מוסר. עד מוסר. עד מוסר. עד מוסר. עד מוסר.